Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice again to have you join our training Farm of Skill 1.0 organized by Hevet Technology Limited. Once again, welcome on board for day three training on catfish farming. Just to reiterate again, if you have not yet downloaded a mobile application, do so now. Go to Google Play Store and download AgroSys. I'm also going to be dropping the link to download the app or in the comment section. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, and share the videos among your friends, right? And then there's another thing that we also like to talk to you about AgroSys mobile application is our refer and earn system. So we've integrated that as well. So that's the good news on the AgroSys app. You can actually refer AgroSys app to other farmers' friends, and per farmers that use your referral code to register, you get points, which if you accumulate it, you can use it to book uh, one of our premium features, which is speaking to a veterinary doctor. You can even use it to buy airtime, right? On your um on your mobile numbers. So hurry up now, share with your friend, refer AgroSys mobile application to your friend and start earning. Start earning. The point will be converted to Naira. You can use it to book a paid service of a veterinary doctor when you've accumulated the point, and then you can also use it to purchase airtime for your mobile for your phone. If you need more clarification on that, we're going to be releasing a session, most likely tomorrow, to tell you more about our refer and earn program for our AgroSys mobile application. All right, so let's get started for today's class. Still on what we have been talking about, remember this is day three. We've talked about pond preparation and stocking quality seed. And I believe you guys actually learned a lot. And you also took our assessment, which is one of the major criteria to actually be selected to win the grant. So you have to take assessment, listen to the training videos and take our assessment. All right, so today we'll be going into feed and feeding and also touch on routine management, record keeping, biosecurity, and financials. Right, all right. So feeding. What are the things to watch out for when you want to feed your catfish? Remember, I told you that for starter, you have to stock juveniles or post-juveniles. They are much more easy to manage, right? They are much more easier to manage. So stock juveniles if this is your first time of starting catfish farming. Okay. But if you have been doing that and you have been able to manage it over time, then you can go for fingerlings or post fingerlings. So first thing that you need to do is choose the type of feed you want to go for, right? There are two different types. We have uh, the one that have been compounded by both international and local companies. Some of them is Halaqua, Blue Crown, and the likes, right? And we have the locally formulated feed. But as a starter, I will advise you to buy those ones that has already been compounded, formulated by these companies, right? Than you formulating your feed by yourself if you're a starter. And if you are, well, maybe you peradventure when you've raised your fish for like 4 months, 5 months, like 4 months, you can start introducing locally formulated feed so that you can reduce the cost of feeding for your catfish. So choose the brand you want to go for. The one I recommend is Blue Crown. Blue Crown is cost effective, not as expensive as Halakwa, right? It's a very good feed that you can start your catfish for those in Nigeria. I don't know for those outside of Nigeria, what type of brands, fish brand that you have in your country, right? But you want to save as many costs as possible in your feeding. One of the way to save costs is to go for feed that are low cost and they also perform really better, right? All right. So, and when you want to start, particularly for the one that you want to feed them, a lot of farmer makes this mistake. They just do a kind of a broadcast, right? They just broadcast feed anywhere, anyhow in their fish pond. No, don't do that. If you do that, those feeds are going to decompose very fast. Your fish are not going to eat those feed because it's a new environment, right? Your fish are not going to eat those feed and then they decompose and create ammonia, increase the ammonia level of your fish pond. So as a starter, what you do is locate a particular spot, right? A particular spot that is convenient for you and start introducing this feed to them at that spot. Okay. So when you introduce, they may not pick it, rush it day one, day two, but by the time they get acclimatized to the spot you feed them, by day three, day four, within a week, you would have seen them. They automatically, on a daily basis, or anytime you want to feed them, they automatically, every one of them, gravitate towards that spot you feed them. Right? It makes your feeding much more effective than just broadcasting anyhow. All right. Then I will also advise you to go for floating feed. We have floating and sinking feed, right? But for the first 3 months or even 4 months of their growth life cycle, go for floating so that you'll be able to monitor that they're actually eating your feed and they are eating it right. There is no waste, right? And everything is in proper shape. So go for floating feed. Um, by the time they are growing to 5, 6 months, then you can start introducing sinking feed because catfish are also bottom feeders, right? They can feed from the bottom and they can also pick it from the bottom. That's one amazing features about this catfish. They are both bottom feeder and they can feed also at the top. So start with floating feed for this uh, 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 complete compounded feed like Blue Crown. All right. And if you are starting with juvenile, of course, these are different sizes of fish feed that are available in the market presently. We have 2 mm, 3 mm, 4 mm, 6 mm, and you feed them based on their growth rate. So I'm going to be speaking more on these sizes later. So I think you get the point now, right? So go for complete compounded. Don't formulate your feed if you're starting. At least for the first 4 months of their growth stage, give them all this feed. They are highly proteinous and they do very well. Then maybe at 5, 6, 7 months, you can now start introducing local sinking feed for them. Right. So still on catfish feeding, you can see these are different sizes of catfish feeds that are available in market presently. The floating one is there, the sinking one is there, the locally formulated one is there, and also the ones that have been formulated and compounded by all these companies. So first thing you must understand in feeding your cattle is that catfish have fed 3 to 5% of their body weight per day, right? Per day. So 3 to 5% of their body weight per day. Okay, so that means the feed you are going to give them for that day has to be like 3 to 5%. This percentage changes as the fish grows. But for stocking the juveniles, you have to feed them 3 to 5%, and you divide the feed. You give them one in the morning, you give them one in the evening, at least when they start, when you stock. For example, if you are stocking a standard juvenile, the standard juvenile should weigh 6 grams. So 5% of 6 grams gives you 0.3 gram. So that's what you're going to feed just one fish. So for example, you are stocking 1,000 juveniles. So you can multiply 1,000 times 0.3. That's more like 300 grams. So you can weigh that. You can weigh that and then feed your fish, right? Divide it into two, right? And feed them um, 2 times in a day. All right, so let's go on. So feeding. Um, I just decided to give you this a simple feeding chart, particularly if you are feeding with halakwa. Halakwa feed is a very good template you can follow, but it's not that comprehensive enough. So we hope we can be able to provide you a much more comprehensive feeding chart that you can use for your farm. Right. I think I'll talk later on that as we go on. So this is a very good feeding chart that you can actually use if you are stocking post fingerlings. And all things being equal. So for a 1,000 fish, you should be expecting like 67 bags. Like 67 bags. Okay. To actually feed, and it gives you an average weight of 1.4 kg at sales, which is a very good one, right? Which is a very, very good one. Okay, so let's go on. So I just go back to this video and see through it over again. So routine management. Um, so we have these are the major routine management for a very good fish farm. One, beware of overstocking. I can't flog that over and over. I can't say that enough. Beware of overstocking. Please refer to our previous video, right? So that you can know what we mean by overstocking. What are the things that you should watch out for when you want to stock your fish? Okay. Then check your water chemistry. Routine check of your water chemistry. If it is possible, even daily, right? If you don't have that power to do it daily, then at once in a week, twice in a week is very okay. Check your water chemistry, check for the pH, check for the ammonia level, right? Check for the soft oxygen. This will help you in making sure that your fish are healthy and then your fish are eating and they are, it's okay. I want to make out this part, right? Something about fish is that when the water condition is not good for the fish and you keep feeding them, they will not grow as they're supposed to grow. Why? Because they will be using the energy gotten from your feed to fight unfavorable water condition, right? Instead of them converting it to flesh and weight for you. And the game of fish farming is a game of weight and what and size. So you want to make sure that at 6 months, at 7 months, your fish is averagely 1 kg in size. So your water condition is very, very important. And I said, if you need water test kits, reach out to us and we get it delivered to your farm, right, within few hours. Okay. Then watch out for predators and thefts, either earthing or concrete or tarpaulin. Fish is fish farm is predisposed to predators, right? And human predators, they are always there. So watch out for them and always be on the guard. Okay. Then avoid overfeeding, as I said. Um, Refer to the previous slide I just shared and know how to feed your fish more effectively. Then always have this flow-through system in place on your fish pond. In cases of maybe the ammonia level is high, that's why when we are talking about pond construction, remember I told you about having a inlet and an outlet, right? Flow-through system is is more like a system that allows you to easily drain out used water, right, and replace it with fresh water. So as the water is flowing in, the water is flowing out. That is the best way to actually drain your fish pond. You know, a lot of fish farmers, particularly in Nigeria, don't actually have a flow through system. What they do most of the time is that they will reduce the water to one third or one fourth, right? And then start pumping new water. If you are doing that, you are affecting the growth of your fish because you are distorting their environment. That is their living environment. That is their habitat. You know, it's just like someone they put you inside a room, right? And they want to renovate that room. And you are still inside that room. So maybe they now cut the room into one quarter, or maybe the carpenter or the bricklayer are now, trying to build the room while you are still inside the room. You can imagine how noisy and uncomfortable that is going to be for you. So you are building a room where your living room where you are still there, and the carpenter is still knocking the roof sheets. The bricklayer is trying to fix your window, trying to fix your floor. You can imagine how you are going to be uncomfortable for hours. The same thing applies to the fish. So a flow through system is a perfect way to drain your fish pond. So the water at one inlet, right? There's an inlet, fresh water comes in, then there's an outlet at the other side of the pond, right? Old, dirty, used water just flows out like that. With that kind of system put in place, it's not going to affect your fish at all. And you're really going to enjoy the growth and the performance of that fish. So ensure flow through system for your fish pond. All right. Then watch out for flooding, particularly those who use earthen pond, very important. Then sorting, these are routine management, particularly those who use concrete and tarpaulin pond. By the time your fish reach like 3 months, try to sort them. There will be shooters in their midst, those that eat and grow faster than others. So at 3 months, you have to sort those bigger ones out from the small one, because if you do not, those bigger ones will keep predating, right? Cannibalism, as I said. So they will eat up the small ones, and that will be affecting your harvest at the end of the day. Then record keeping. Record keeping, a lot of farmers also don't do this. Try to have a record for your fish farm. The feed you buy, your financials, everything, the mortality you even record on a daily basis. Try to see, because when most of the time, it's not all, most of the time when fish die, you see them float. So you can also keep track, but not all of them float. Some of them end up in the belly of the other fish, and some do not even float, particularly if you are using earthen pond. But if you are using concrete pond and tarpaulin, most of the time when they die, they float, right? So keep record of the mortality, the feeding, your cost. It will help you at the long run, so that you know when you're harvesting, if you're actually making profit, what are the things you are doing wrong, what are the things you are not doing wrong, you are not doing right. You are doing right, right? So biosecurity. Biosecurity is just a system that you should put in place to make sure that your fish farm is secure, right? Don't allow any intruder, don't allow anybody to just come into your fish farm anyhow without proper biosecurity measures. Normal disinfectant, I talked about salt. I talk about, so if you are building a very good and standard fish farm, make sure that your biosecurity measures are properly put in place. All right. Then another thing that is not here is watch your pond maintenance. Always check, is anywhere leaking? Is there anything going on? Is there any breach somewhere? Is the water system working very well? So check out for all these things or more, for your fish pond, right? So this management is very germane because believe me, there's no how your fish will definitely want to experience, particularly if you do not manage it very well. And to do that, we have built a mobile application for you that you can actually use, right, to keep your fish healthy. So hurry up now and download mobile application on Google Play Store. It's available there for you. As I said, you can take pictures and then our app can detect what is wrong with your fish and provide you solution. Particularly, maybe a fish is sick or is dead. Just pick that fish out, then put the camera of your phone to take different side of the fish, and our app can tell you, okay, this is likelihood of what is wrong, and we have accuracy of a little above 90% that what we are telling you is actually what is wrong with your fish. Then you can even speak with a veterinary doctor for as low as 2,000 naira on our mobile application. Then on our app, you can also buy animal drugs, your fish drugs, anything that you need for your fish, and you have it delivered to your farm, right? So the major things for disease treatment, your salts, make it always available, right? Then antibiotics therapy, but you have to use antibiotics with caution. And then the flow-through system is also very important in disease treatment. In fact, if you have built a pond that has this flow-through system, it is very easy to treat manage disease. But if you don't have that, then what you're going to do is that in applying antibiotics, for example, oxytetracycline, you have to mix it with the feed, right? Don't just pour it inside the water that way. Mix it with the feed and feed them so that they are taking it directly inside, right? It's not entering the water body if you do not use a flow-through system, right? Mix the feed with the antibiotics and feed the fish. So immediately they take the fish and they start working in their body, right? But the best way to actually treat diseases in fish pond is through the flow-through system. So the whole thing is applied inside the water, right? And the water can easily act on the body of the fish, and also they can take from it, and then it flows like that outside without causing harm into the fish pond. So download our mobile application. We get to release articles also, updates on our community where you also learn more on how to manage your fish. All right, so let's go. So financials. Um, we will not be talking about financials in this training, but based on the demand of participants, we are going to be giving out a ebook, right? A ebook that is more it contains all the needed financials to set up your and run your fish farm. It also contains other things that we do not even talk about here in the training because 5 days is not even enough to cover everything that has to do with fish, right? But we will try as much as possible to also we'll be releasing more content on our YouTube channels about more like on farm practical videos on our YouTube channel where we'll be deep diving on different aspects of fish farm. So that's why I ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can always release access to this content when we drop them on our YouTube channels. So we've decided to answer, respond to your complaints and your request, right? And so our facilitators, we uh, provide a very robust ebook for you. And we want to subsidize this for just the first 30 people that show interest. It is not a must. This is not part of the grants, right? Yeah. So I know many of you will be, oh, they said it's free training. Now you are selling books. What about the grants? No, this is based on the request by the participants, right? So we'll be giving out this ebook for it is subsidized for first 30 people that show interest. After it's 30, we're going to close it, and it's not mandatory. If you don't want to get it, fine. That doesn't affect your selection to partake in the grant, right? It doesn't affect it in a bit. And we are giving out for 5,000 naira. So at the end of this video, we're going to be dropping the assessment. So in the assessment link, you can show interest, right? Um, um, there's a place there that we're going to put for you to show interest if you're interested in buying the ebook. And once we reach the first 30 people, we close it up, and then that ends it. So as I reiterate again, it does not affect the grant selection process. So the assessment for today, which is one major criteria, as I said, three major criteria for you to win the grant, right? To be selected as top 10 who are going to pitch. I've talked about the first one is attendance, right? And the second is assessment. And the third is that you download a mobile application. So this is assessment. This assessment is also a way of knowing that you actually attended the class. All right. So it's more like a two-in-one. So from your knowledge, from your response, we can be able to detect if you actually attended the class. Then from your response, we can also be able to grade you based on the answers you provide. So this is the assessment for today. What is the normal pH a fish pond should have? All right. So the class does not end here. The next class we are going to have is going to be on marketing, and it's going to be a very robust one. So see you in the next class. Please subscribe and turn on the notification